All right, so this is number 14. Today we are adding and subtracting integers right here with the star. This is just a reminder. We've mentioned integers in the past. Integer is a positive or negative whole number. All right, and remember that 0 is not positive or negative, but it is included when we're talking about an integer. So you might see the number 0 when we're adding and subtracting. But that's easy because if you add 0, does it change anything? No. If you subtract 0, does it change anything? No, so that should be like an easy problem that has a direct answer. We shouldn't have to do any work for that. All right? Okay, so when we're adding and subtracting integers, there are 3 steps that we need to be aware of. All right? So the first step is a special case. So the first step doesn't always happen. So for right now, we're just going to write number 1. Okay. And then let's skip 2 lines. We're going to write, number 1, and we're going to skip 2 lines. So then underneath that, skip a line, and we're going to do number 2. All right? Because number 1 doesn't happen on every single problem. All right? Number 2, though, does. All right? Normally when you add and subtract, you just look in the center and it tells you plus or it tells you minus, and you know what to do, right? Okay, but because we have positive and negative numbers here, we can't just look in the middle anymore. All right, so we cannot look in the middle. From now on, we're going to have to look at both numbers. Okay, so we're going to have to look at both numbers. Please remember a positive sign and a plus sign look the same because they act the same. A negative sign and a minus sign look the same because they act the same. So what we're going to do now, instead of looking at just in the center to see what's in the middle, now we're going to have to look at both numbers. When I look at both numbers, if they have the same sign, I'm going to add those numbers together. If they have the same sign, I'm going to add them together. If they have different signs, I'm going to subtract them. All right, so no longer do I just get to look in the middle. From now on, I've got to look at the whole problem and decide, do my numbers have same signs or do they have different signs? All right, after I've added or after I've subtracted, all right, we've got an answer now, but we need to decide if our answer is positive or if our answer is negative. The way that we're going to decide what type of answer we have is we're going to take the sign of the larger number. Okay, so for every problem that we do, if they have the same sign, we'll add. If they have different signs, that we'll subtract. And then we'll take the sign of the larger number. All right, we're going to fill in step number 1 in a minute. We're going to work a couple of just plain problems. And then I'm going to give you one of the special cases where we need step 1. Okay? 2 steps. Those are the main things. Those main 2 steps. All right, do we think we can remember 2 things? Okay. So in the past, I've made all of my students learn a song, and we sing a lot. But I'm assuming that that we might not want to sing. All right. Plus, here's the thing: the song is a little bit long, and for some people in the past, it's been confusing because it's just a lot of words to remember. So what I decided today while I was working this morning in the hallway and monitoring, all right, I had this bright idea. Instead of doing a song, we'll do a cheer because that sounds just as good. All right? So guys, it's going to be really simple. All y'all have to do is participate. I'm going to be the one at the front of the room. I'm going to look really goofy. Look, I even went and borrowed some shakers. All right? I'm going all out here, okay? So, hey, guys. All right. Guys, I would like for us to be able to do these silly things, all right? So I need y'all to participate, okay, correctly, all right? Yes, we are recording. So I'm about to record myself cheering for y'all, All right? So please, yes, I will be posting this. All right. So, shh. All right. Are y'all ready?
No. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the main rules, guys, the main thing that we have to know is when to add and when to subtract. If we can get that far, picking the right sign, that's going to be the easy part. So this is the main thing that we've got to remember. So our cheer. I say same sign, you say add. Same sign. Add. Same sign. Add. I say different, you say subtract. Different. Subtract. Different. Subtract. Same sign. Add. Different. Subtract. Different. Subtract. Different. Subtract. Same sign. Add. Same sign. Add. Different. Subtract. Same sign. Add. Go math! Okay, there we go. So that's all you get. That's all I got, okay? All right. I know it's cheesy. No, it's a little silly, but hopefully maybe we'll remember. All right? Plus, that was a little more fun than me just sitting here going, remember to same sign, add them together, you know, all that stuff. Okay. All right. So, guys, every once in a while, I'm going to grab those pom-poms. You know what to do now, right?
No.
Okay.
Of course. Yeah. No.
One more time.
Yeah.
I say same sign. You say add. Same sign. Add. Same sign. Add. I say different. You say subtract. Different. Subtract. Different. Subtract. Yay. All right. Okay. So seriously. Okay, let's rein it back in. Ladies, gentlemen. We're going to rein it back in because now we need to get a little serious. We got to do some math problems. So down here we're going to do some examples. All right, so we're going to do some examples together. It's like 6 extra letters. It's okay. All right. For my first example, number 1, -4 plus 9. -4 plus 9. All right, now remember, we haven't written in step 1 yet, all right, because it doesn't matter on this problem. Right now, we're just skipping all the way to step 2. Do these have the same sign? Remember, we can't just look and say, oh, it says to add, so I'm going to add. We've got to look at both of those numbers. Do these two numbers have same signs or do they have different signs? Raise your hand, please. Same sign or different signs, Jake? They have different signs, so we all agree. Different signs. And what did my rule say about different signs? Ashaya? Subtract. Different, we're going to subtract. So now, guys, in my head, when I'm subtracting, I'm not going to do 4 minus 9. In my head, I'm going to do the big number first every time. I'm not writing anything on the paper, guys. I want you to read my mind for a second, okay? Right now, in my head, I'm doing 9 minus 4 because they were different signs, so we're subtracting. What is 9 minus 4 going to give me, Ben? 5. Very good. And now I'm going to look at number 3. So we got 5. Are there any questions on how I got 5? All right, so what does rule number 3 say? Isaac? Number 3. Take the sign of the large number. So guys, I'm not looking at the signs right now. I'm just looking at the digit by itself. Which one is bigger, a 4 or a 9? Which one is larger? Serenity? 9. All right, guys, look in front of 9. What type of number is 9? Positive. Because a plus sign and a positive sign look the same because they act the same, all right? So now here's a question. We know that this is positive 9. Do I need to write a positive or a plus sign in front of the 5? No, because we know any number by itself is already positive. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and circle that 5. That's our answer. Yes. All right, right here we have a minus 4 or a negative 4, and we have plus 9, right? Isaac, do those have same signs or different signs? Different. And what does it say when we have different signs? So we did 9 minus 4. Okay, we just subtracted them. All right, number 2. negative 7 minus 5. Negative 7 minus 5. Okay. When I'm looking at this problem, do I just want to look here and say, oh, it says subtract, so I'm going to subtract? No. We've got to look at both of our numbers. When I look at both of my numbers, do I have same signs or do I have different signs? Kennedy? When I look at negative 7 and minus 5, are those the same or are they different? They're the same because remember, a negative and a minus, they look the same, right? Because they act the same. But we're going to treat them the exact same. So these are the same sign. So if they're the same sign, what do my directions tell me to do, Giselle? If they're the same sign, what does it tell me to do? Add them. So again, this is what, like, y'all didn't know I was going to teach you to read minds today, did you? So in my head right now, raise your hand if you can tell me, what am I thinking? If we said we were going to add those two, in my head, what am I thinking? Alana? Right? So what math am I doing in my head right now? Raise your hand if you can tell me, what math am I doing in my head? Reagan?
Addition.
But what am I doing? Not just addition. We said that this means to add them, but what addition problem am I doing in my head? Ashaya. Thank you. Okay, so Ashaya got that. So when I look at this and I see same signs, add, in my head, I'm just automatically doing 7 plus 5. Have I done anything with those negatives?
Nope.
No, they were the same. So all I'm thinking is, okay, I'm going to add those numbers. 7 plus 5, what do I get in my head when I do 7 plus 5? Ava? 12. All right, Ava. What does step 3 say again? Take the sign of the larger number. Well, 7's bigger. And what does 7 say? Negative, minus. So I'm going to put a minus with the 12. Because if it's negative, do I have to have a sign? Yes, we have to have the minus there. All right, number 3. For number 3, we're going to do 7 minus 19. 7 minus 19. 7 minus 19. Now guys, in the past when we've seen this problem, we just wouldn't work it because can we do a small number minus a big number?
No.
In the past, we could not. All right, but now what we're going to do is we're just going to use these rules and we're going to see if we can work it with the rules. All right, so when I'm looking at these two numbers, the first thing we want to decide, do they have the same sign or do they have different signs? Raise your hand if you can tell me. Do we have the same signs here or different signs? Ben? Different. So Ben, I only see a minus sign. So how did you know they were different?
Because 7 is by itself and you do not need a positive sign to tell that it is positive.
Excellent. So you said 7 is by itself, and remember, do we have to write in a positive for it to be positive?
No.
No. So if it doesn't have a sign, we know it's positive. So he's saying it's positive and negative, so they're different signs. All right, Connor, what does my directions tell me to do if they have different signs? What do I do with my numbers?
Subtract.
We're going to subtract. So again, this is where I've got to use my head, use my brain a little bit. In my head, which one is easier to do, 7 minus 19 or 19 minus 7? In my head, I always want to do that big number first. So in my head, I'm thinking of 19 minus 7. If I take 7 away from 19, what number do I get, Alex? 12. Okay? Now, we've still got to decide, is that going to be a positive 12 or is that going to be a negative 12? What do you think, Skylar? Why are we doing a negative 12, Skylar? My biggest number is 19. What sign is with that? A negative. So we're going to keep that. Very good. Okay? All right. I think we're ready to add in our rule number 1. Okay. I'm going to write the problem out first. And I'm going to ask for someone to tell me what's kind of wrong with this problem. So let's see. Number 4. We're going to do 3 minus a negative 2. 3 minus a negative 2. So this problem looks a little different. It has parentheses, all right? But what else is different about this besides just the parentheses? What else is different here? BJ? Yeah, do y'all see how these two minus signs, is there a number in between them? No. So guys, I want you to think back to like English for a second. Double negatives in a sentence. If I say I didn't have no paper, is that grammatically a good sentence? No. I didn't have no paper is not a good sentence because it's got that double negative. So I didn't have no paper. What does that actually mean?
I don't have any paper. I don't have any paper. That's what it means. Paper. So I don't have any paper.
All right. So okay. That's not okay. So what you're wanting to say is I don't have paper, correct? That would be the correct sentence. But if you say I don't have no paper, what you're actually saying is you have paper. Because if you don't have no paper, then you have paper. So that's why double negatives are bad. All right, guys. In math, a double sign is bad. Do y'all see how these two signs are next to each other? This is a double sign. They might be both negatives. They might be different signs. They could be both plus signs. All right? Since we don't write plus signs with positive numbers, you probably won't see that. Okay? But the point is, when two signs are next to each other, that's a double sign, which is bad. So step one, guys, and we haven't had to use it yet, but our step one is going to be to get rid of double signs. Get rid of double signs. All right? And the way we're going to do that, the way we're going to get rid of those double signs, if they're the same, what if we said that same signs mean? Add. So if they're the same, we're going to make it addition. If they're different, we're going to make it subtraction. So this step one is kind of similar to step two, isn't it? All right? If they're the same, we're going to make it addition. If they're different, we're going to make it a subtraction sign. All right, guys? Just like in English, if I said I didn't have no paper, all right, I'd have to rewrite that entire sentence. I have to come up with a new sentence that says, I don't have paper. All right? So it's the same thing here. We're going to rewrite this entire problem. So what I want you to do, if you have a double sign, I just want you to circle the double sign. So let's circle that. No, that's not our answer. Okay. So the reason that we're circling that is because that's bad. We don't want that there. So, Caleb, right now in that double sign circle, are those the same or are they different?
Same.
They're the same. All right, so Caleb, what does it mean if I have the same sign? What does that mean I need to change it to? Addition. So guys, shh. All right, I'm hearing some talking. I need to stop so we can focus. All right, so we're changing that to addition. Have I changed anything else in the problem? No, so everything outside of the circle, we're just going to leave the way it was. All right, guys, this is my new problem. Whenever you have a double sign, once you've changed it, I want you to mark this out. We don't even want to look at that anymore. All right, it was a bad problem. It had a double sign. That's no good. We don't want that. Okay? So we're going to mark that out. So now, what does my new problem say?
3 plus 2.
3 plus 2. Alana, can we do 3 plus 2? What is 3 plus 2, Alana? 5. All right. So guys, a double sign doesn't really make the problem harder. It just gives us one more step that we have to do so that we can create a good problem. All right, let's do another one. All right, number 5. Please stop tapping. All right. For number 5, we're going to do negative 8 minus a negative 4. Minus a negative 4. So again, when I look at this problem, what's the first thing that I notice that's an issue? Jorge? We have a double sign. Do y'all see where my double sign is? All right, so we have a double sign. So we're going to circle. We're going to circle our double sign. All right, Alana, what is that double sign going to change to? Adding. Because they're the same, we make it addition. All right, have I changed anything else in the problem? Have I done anything to this negative that's with the 8? No, it's not in the circle, so we bring it down. All right, do y'all see how that's not in the circle, so we just leave it there? All right, do I need that original problem anymore? No, guys, that was a bad problem. Don't use it. All right. So now, guys, I have to do step 2 still. Have I done step 2 yet?
Nope.
No, all I did was I got rid of the double sign. So now I've got to do step 2. What does step 2 tell me to do? Skylar? If they're different signs, subtract. And Skylar only read that part because she had already looked, and we have a minus and a plus. Are those different?
Yep.
Yeah, so we're going to subtract those. Raise your hand if you can tell me what math problem am I doing in my head? In my head, Reagan? We're doing 8 minus 4, which gives me 4. So, guys, when she told me the math in my head, am I thinking about positive and negatives? No, I'm just thinking 8 minus 4 is 4. Now I've got to think, is that 4 positive or negative? Is my 4 positive or negative? Raise your hand if you can tell me. Alana? Excellent job. Negative because we're taking the negative from that 8 because it's bigger. All right, awesome job, guys. All right, number 6. We're going to do 10 together, and then I'm going to give you your classwork. All right, I can always create more than 10.
No.
So we're done complaining about 10 now?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so let's do number 2. 6, sorry. We're going to do 1 plus negative 17. Okay. Anyone notice anything about this problem, Isaac?
I have a question. If you know how to do it, can you go ahead and do it? Just stay with me.
Just stay with me. Alana? Yeah, so we have a plus and a minus. Now, guys, before they were both negatives, this is still a double sign because they're two signs that are
Different.
next to each other. So we circle them. Very good. All right, so when I circle those two signs, what is that going to change to? What is my new problem going to say? Samaria?
They're different. So, yeah.
Samaria? All right, now you got it. So, Samaria, my double sign, are they same or are they different?
Different.
So what does that change it to? Different means what?
Different means subtract.
Different means subtract. Different means subtract, so I'm going to put a minus sign there. Am I changing anything else about the problem?
No.
No. Keeping my 1, keeping my 17. So, guys, we've created a whole new problem. So now we've got to start all over from the beginning to do this new problem. All right. 1 minus 17. This looks a little familiar, maybe like number 3. So we've got to ask ourselves still, did these two numbers, so am I talking about those double signs anymore?
Nope.
Now I'm talking about the numbers. Did these two numbers have the same signs or do they have different signs? Addison? Do these two numbers have same signs or different signs?
Different.
Different, because remember the 1 is positive since there's nothing there. Excellent job, Addison. All right, so since they have different signs, what am I doing with the numbers, Addison? Since they have different signs, I'm going to subtract. So in my head, what math problem am I doing in my head? Isaac? 17 minus 1. Do y'all see how in my head, whenever I do subtraction, the big number always goes first?
Yep.
So 17 minus 1, what does that give me, Amelia? 16. All right, and is that 16 going to be a positive or negative, Amelia? Positive or negative? Negative. If we look at 17, 17 is the bigger number, right?
Yes.
And what sign is with that? A negative. So we put that with our 16. Very good. All right. So let's mix them up a little. So you'll notice the first 3 that we did had no double signs. Then we did 3 with double signs. So now I'm going to mix them up for you. All right. So let's do number 7.
Yes.
So we only got 4 more that we're going to do together. For number 7, negative 2 minus 11. All right, so guys, I'm throwing you a little bit of a curveball here. Right. So you notice there's parentheses in this problem, isn't there?
Yes.
But are there any double signs?
No.
No, there are no signs right next to each other. Guys, this is just a regular problem. I put this up here because sometimes textbooks and like the worksheet that you're going to do today, they'll put parentheses around this because they want to make sure that negative and that 2 stay together. All right? So whenever you have a negative, sometimes people will put parentheses around the negative number to keep the negative and the number together. And that's what's happening here. Are the parentheses doing anything special?
Do we need to
No.
put it down?
If you want to, you can. All right, so these parentheses aren't doing anything. So is there a double sign?
Nope.
So we're ready to just work the problem. Do my numbers have same signs or different signs, Caleb? Same. So Caleb, since they have the same sign, what am I doing with those 2 numbers? I'm adding them. So raise your hand if you can tell me, what's the math problem I'm doing in my head right now? What's the math problem I'm doing in my head? Alana? All right, now remember, we said that they have the same sign, right? If they have the same sign, what operation do we do? Add. We're just doing 11 plus 2. No, you're fine. You're fine. No, this is really good. So when I do math in my head, we don't do any negatives in our head. We only either add or we subtract. Here, since I'm adding, I'm just doing 11 plus 2. And what does that give me? 13. And once I get that answer, so I get 13, once I get that answer, now I can look at the sign that I need. All right, what sign do I need to go with that 13? What sign do I need, Ashaya? A negative. Why? The biggest number is 11, and it's a negative. Very good. All right, number 8. Number 8, we're going to do negative 17 minus negative 2 plus 4.
This is confusing me already.
Okay, well, don't let it confuse you. Just write the problem down. We're going to do this one together, and then I'll give you another one.
I have a feeling the next sheet may be harder.
Yes, I'm good. Thank you. Raise your hand if you can tell me what is it that you notice in this problem that makes it a bad problem. Serenity? There's double signs. All right, so if you'll look right here, do y'all see that double sign? So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fix this problem because do we want to try to work a bad problem?
No.
No. All right. So we're going to circle our double sign. All right. Noah, what is my double sign going to change to here? Addition. Why are we making it addition, Noah? They're the same. Since they're the same, it means addition. Am I doing anything else to the problem? No. So we're still going to write negative 17. I'm still going to write 2. Just 2, because remember that sign was circled. And then I'm going to write plus 4. All right? Do I need that problem anymore? No. I'm going to mark that out where it was the double sign because that was bad. We don't want to use it. All right. Guys, just in doing that, didn't that make this problem look a lot easier? It still might look a little confusing because of the negative, but it definitely made it look better than what we started with. All right? So now, what I would do, guys, just like order of operations says, when I have addition and subtraction, we start left to right. That's what we're going to do here. We're going to start at the left. We're going to do these 2 numbers first. Do those 2 numbers have same signs or different signs? Isaac?
Different.
So what am I going to do with those 2 numbers? Subtract. So in my head, I'm subtracting 17 minus 2, which gives me 15. What type of sign? A negative, because 17 is Bigger. Have I done anything with the plus 4 yet?
No.
So let's keep that there. All right, so now Addison, same signs or different signs? Different signs. So now I'm just going to do those last two numbers, different signs. So what does that mean I have to do? Subtract. So in my head, I'm doing 15 minus 4, which is? What does 15 minus 4 give me? 11. All right. Raise your hand if you can tell me. Positive or negative 11 there. Positive 11 or negative 11. Ben. Negative, because 15 is bigger and 15 is negative. All right. So that problem looked really long and crazy.
But it turned out to be super easy.
Turned out to be not so bad. All right. Number 9. All right, number 9. If you guys, you can flip over because your homework, your classwork today has plenty of room for you to do the work on there. So if you want to write on the back of your note sheet, that's fine. All right. So at number 2, we're going to do 1 plus, I'm sorry, number 9, negative 9 minus 8. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and write number 10 up here as well. So that way, some of us are a little bit ahead of me. That way, if you want to go ahead and work both of them, just make sure you check your answer as we work them. So we're going to do 23 plus 5 minus a negative 10. Okay. All right. What should I do first on number 9? Isaac. Fix those double signs. So I'm going to circle those double signs. Raise your hand if you can tell me, what is the double sign here going to change to? Skylar? Subtraction. These are definitely different. So we're going to subtract. So I have 1 minus 9 minus 8. That's the only thing that changed. All right. What am I going to do next? X. What am I going to do next? Order of operation. I'm going to start with those first two. 1 minus 9. All right. When I'm looking at these two numbers in that circle, 1 minus 9, do I have same signs or do I have different signs? Reagan? In my circle here, 1 minus 9. What type of number is 1? What type of number is 9? So those are different. So we have different signs here, which means what do I have to do if they're different? Alana? Subtract. What do I get? What am I doing in my head, Isaac? 9 minus 1, which is? 8. Okay? What type of 8 is that going to be, DJ? A negative, because 9 is bigger and 9 is negative. All right? So this to me is always interesting. Now it says negative 8 minus 8. All right? If it was just 8 minus 8, that would be 0. But because it's negative, these have the same sign. So what am I actually doing with those numbers, Ashaya? I'm adding them. And 8 plus 8 is? 16. What sign? Negative. Guys, since these are the same number, it might be hard to tell which sign to pick. Well, aren't they the same? If I pick this 8, what's my sign?
Negative.
If I pick this 8, what's my sign?
Negative.
Negative. You can't go wrong there, okay? And if they were different signs, I would have subtracted and gotten 0, which does 0 get a sign? No. All right. Last one. What am I going to do first? Last one in our notes. What am I going to do first here? Jorge. Double sign. We got to change it. What am I going to make it? What am I going to make that double sign, Jorge? Addition. These are the same, so we're going to make it addition. Am I changing anything else in this?
No, ma'am.
No. So I have 23 plus 5 plus 10. Okay, this problem ended up being really easy. It's all addition. We're still going to do 2 at a time, though. So 23 plus 5. What does that give me? 23 plus 5. Onyx. 28. And then we have 28 plus 10. And 28 plus 10. What do we get there? Ethan?
38.
38. All right. So guys, I'm going to pass out our worksheet. It is front and back. We have 40 minutes.